Hi guys, welcome to a new episode of the Danilobmma Podcast. I'm with Kenyon Smith. Thank you for joining me, sir. How you
Yeah,
doing?
man. Glad to be on here. I'm doing good. Thank you for reaching out. Excited to be on the show and looking forward to it, man. Yeah.
I know a little bit about you. I know that you fought in Combat Night MMA and all that. But for the viewers that don't know, could you give them a breakdown of your career so far? Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. So I started training with no real prior experience. I think it was January of 2021. I was up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at Wanderlei Jiu-Jitsu with Daniel Wanderlei and Joe Nichols. Really good school. They've got a pretty good fight team built out. Up there, I had 6 amateur MMA fights. And then I moved around a little bit. Moved to Orlando in January of 2024. Since then, I've been training at Orlando City Muay Thai. I had, I think, 4 or 5 kickboxing fights over the last couple of years, and then yeah, like you said, I just made my pro MMA debut with Combat Night back on March 28th. So yeah, took a little bit of time off in between, but since I've been down here and started fighting, we've been rolling at a pretty good clip. Yeah.
You mentioned that Jackson, one of the guys I interviewed, is your friend. Like, you know him personally. What's your relationship with him?
Yeah, man. So when I was living in Atlanta, on my way down to Orlando, I trained at American Top Team Atlanta with some dogs. Ronald Humphrey is one of them. He's an undefeated pro right now. He's fighting for, I want to say, an LFA title here in Chicago in a few months. He's a monster. But our striking coach, our MMA coach, was Corey Jackson, Bellator vet. Probably one of the scariest or one of the best dirty boxing fighters. He's really like gone to that promotion and made it his own. And just a good friend to have. We keep in touch on Instagram. I haven't seen him in a while, but you got to talk to him, so you know how cool he is. He's a good guy to know. He's a monster in the cage.
He's a sick dude. His
Yeah.
transformation from the gang life to becoming 3-0 in dirty boxing. That's like 3-0 is not easy to do. Like, there's few guys that are undefeated on dirty boxing. Like, very few. Other guys are like
Yeah,
1-1 or something else, but 3-0 is like he could be the face of dirty boxing. So
yeah, he's definitely making a name for himself. His style and the way that he fights definitely fits really well with the dirty boxing. So I'm excited to see him keep growing. He just had a birthday, so happy birthday! Hope he sees this. But yeah,
is there any? So what's your plans for the future? Like future fights? Any future fights?
great question, man. I'm hoping to do some traveling this year. Just had my pro debut in March. I had an amateur fight back in January. My goal, a good year, is fight like 4 to 5 times a year.
Yeah.
So we've got 2 out of the way already. So I'm hoping to get one more in this summer before August, and then close the year out with 2 more. Make for a good year full of fighting and staying active. So that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, just trying to figure out what's next, but definitely want to remain active and take the opportunities that come my way.
This is not a disrespectful. It's not meant to be a disrespectful question. It's just like in general because, how serious are you about MMA? Like I know you're serious, but I mean like how serious are you? Fully locked in? Are you? Is it like a side thing?
Um, yeah, I love it and I love training. I would say that I'm like a lifelong martial artist at this point. Like it's something that I plan on doing the rest of my life. And I understand that it's got a shorter shelf life, and while it does define me in a way, like my results in the cage don't define me. I would say I'm about as locked in as you can get. But yeah, I'm 30 at the same time, so I want to maximize my time with the sport while I can, and like just be the best that I can in it. I played sports growing up, and I didn't really apply myself in the way that I should have. So this is kind of a new lease on life, and yeah, I'm just trying to maximize my potential within the sport for the short time that I have. But I know that it's not the end all be all for me. Like I've got a couple of things that I like to do outside of work that or outside of fighting that like will probably be my life's passion when like when fighting's over with. But yeah, I'd say over the last like 2 years, I fought like 6 or 7 times. So I think that's a good locked in.
Don't do me with this.
Being fairly locked in.
Don't do me with the 6 or 7, please, bro. Please.
I know. Too easy. I tried to. I kept my hands below the screen. No.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to hear it.
My bad.
I'm joking. Combat night.
Mm-hmm.
When is like are you in talks still, or like I see they're like the face offs, how they do those things where the guys like, oh, I didn't know what weight it was, and then the Pereira mask, and then like what's behind the scenes? Are you guys still in talks? Would you want to fight for them again?
Absolutely. Combat night has been really good to me. And such a like a growth opportunity. Like when I first moved down here, I was kind of done with fighting. I'd had a pretty good amateur career, like 4-2's not bad. But I was just kind of going to train. But shouts out to my guys at my gym. They really put the passion. My gym, Orlando City Muay Thai. They just kind of put the fun back into fighting and the love behind it. And so yeah, I'm trying to figure out what's next. Been in talks with the Combat Night about signing a longer term deal. But they're a fantastic promotion, dude. There's a lot of regional promotions in the country, but there aren't many promotions like Combat Night that are going to like help the fighters raise their profile and their notoriety, while at the same time giving them chances to fight. Like this last card that I was just on, a couple fights fell out, but they put on like, I think 15, 16 fights. But the full card is supposed to have like 20 plus. And there just aren't promotions that are rolling out that give guys that opportunity to fight that often. They've got a card here in Jacksonville next weekend. They're in Tampa the following month. Like they fight. We've got fights all over Florida. Like if you're looking to be active and you live in the Southeast or you live in Florida, like Combat Night's a good spot to be, man. Like I am somebody who's got to get a little bit better on my content, which is why this call has been cool. But Combat Night does a lot of that for the fighters. Like if you show up and you do something cool, they're going to highlight it. Like you talked about the Pereira mask, you talk about they've got cameras everywhere. And that's kind of the name of the game these days. Like being a good fighter, it's not just enough to be a good fighter. Like you have to be a good fighter, you've got to have a following. And Combat Night is a place that's going to help you grow a following. And for me specifically, it's like it's kind of forcing me to like stretch myself and like promote myself. So yeah, Combat Night is where I'm planning on fighting. At the same time, like I want to travel with this. Like there's so many opportunities to fight around the country and around the world that I'd love to have an opportunity to get on the road and travel some and see the world while doing my favorite thing, which is fighting. Yeah.
So I have a question regarding why do you fight? Like I'm not trying to sound cringe, right? But why do you fight? Because sometimes like I go to fight when I'm mad. Like I go to trainings when I'm mad, but when I'm just like chilling, everything's going well. I'm like, there's no point of me getting hit in the head. You know what I mean? But once something happens, like once something really bad, I'm like coming for everybody. You know what I mean? Like how do you stay locked in for like, or do you have these like phases? I don't know how to explain it. It's a personal question because it would help me.
No, it's a good question, man. I think like right now it's very relevant because like directly after a fight, you take a little time off and it's hard to get back in the swing of things. And you're coming off such a big. Have you had some fights before?
I've had a jiu-jitsu. I really want an MMA, but I gotta wait. I gotta wait on my something.
Sure thing, man. The sport's not going anywhere, but you'll see it after you fight. Like you get yourself in this peak shape and this peak mental spot and all this kind of thing, and whether you win or lose, like it's just kind of this like this adrenaline drop off, and it's pretty hard to center. But like what gets me back in the gym and gets me back on routine is like I truly think that I'm like my best self when it helps me self-regulate. Like when I'm able to go train and exercise and be around my people at the gym, that's when I show up the best in every other area of life. And I look back at who I was before I was fighting, and it's just been like a night and day flip. Like everything in my life that's come after fighting, like it just feels so aligned with who I am and what I want to be. That like it's kind of like paying the sport back. The sport's given me a lot, from like increased confidence to discipline to opportunities to travel and make a little money. So I feel like you pay that back by going to train when you don't want to train, and cutting the weight and going on these runs. Like it's about just like maximizing your time because it's not forever. And like one day you'll look back and like, I wish I had done this or I wish I had done that, and I don't want to do that. So with the time that I have fighting, I just want to like make sure that I do the best that I can with my fights.
Well, who's the first person that believed in you as a fighter? Would you say?
I think my coach is back in Milwaukee. Shout out to Daniel Wanderley and Joe Nichols. Looking back on it, it's kind of crazy. Like, I started training in January of 2021, and I think May or June of that year, they came to me and they're like, "Hey, like, would you like to fight at the end of the summer?" And I said, "Yeah, that would be cool." Didn't really know all that went into it, but those guys have like trained countless guys. Like if you know Anthony Pettis, like Daniel Wanderley is Anthony Pettis' jiu-jitsu coach. If you're familiar with Duke Rufus in Milwaukee, Joe Nichols trained under him. But yeah, those guys just kind of like brought up the opportunity because they believed that I could do it. And it went really well, and here we are now. I would say my guys down at Orlando City, my coaches, Trent and EJ and Josh, like same kind of thing. Like I moved down here and I was just cool to chill, but those guys believe in me and almost more than myself. Like sometimes going into fights, your confidence gets a little shaky, but I've got these guys around me that remind me of what they see in me, and sometimes some people believe in you is all you need to believe in yourself. So I just named off like 5 people there. So long answer to your question, but if any of my coaches, because they see a lot of potential in me and they put a lot of effort in me, and they wouldn't do that if they didn't think I could fight. So that's who believes in me.
What was your life like? You don't need to answer if it's like something like crazy, But what was your life like before fighting came into the picture?
I just wasn't doing much, man. It's like not a personal question. Like I just like feel like I was floating through life without much of a purpose, like living for the weekend. I had an office job. I'd get up, put my collared shirt and khakis on, and I'd go punch Excel spreadsheets for 8 hours out the day, and then Friday would hit, and me and the guys would go party all weekend, and then Monday would hit, and be back to the same. So there was no like self betterment or like really just reason to go throughout the days. And then I walked into a gym, and like I looked up after a few months of training, and I had some confidence and liked what I was doing, and had all this like discipline, and just saw the world differently. And yeah, I think just the aspects of fighting that are hard to do, they make everything in life a little bit easier because I can punch in the face. Like work might suck. Nobody's trying to beat me up at work. So, and even if they were, I'd be better prepared. So, yeah, I wasn't doing much with like before fighting, and now I've got a completely different career, and I live each day with some passion, and I'm excited about what I do. I've traded, material possessions and, making office job money, for a purposeful life. And I like the way that it looks.
So you're 30, right? Someone that's 18, what do you recommend I get started into like first? Like I have a jiu-jitsu background a bit, like I'm almost blue belt almost. But like
All right.
what like I've heard stories that you should just go in for a sport for 5 years and try to master that sport. Because when I get out of that sport, I'd be like 23. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like, what do you think?
I think try and like dip your hand into it as much as possible. Like do some. I got into it. I had 1 year of high school wrestling experience, but I wasn't really doing like I didn't have a training background, and so I was just like simultaneously I was training. If we had gi class, I was training in the gi. If it was no gi class, I was training no gi. If we had striking class, it was that, and I was just like I would just recommend like do as much training as you can. And over that time, like you'll find what you do well and where your spots are at, and that'll kind of like that'll determine your course. Like you've got a great background in jiu-jitsu already, so if you wanted to take like a few months and really focus in on your striking, like maybe that would be the thing to do. And I think an underrated piece of all that stuff too, man, is like the mental game, like the mental side of things. because it sounds like you want to be active and compete regardless of whether it's jiu-jitsu or MMA. Like you just want to be competitive.
Yeah.
And so many guys like focus on like, getting their diet right, which is great, or getting stronger, which is great, and all that kind of stuff. But like, it's up here, man. Fighting is more mental than any sport I've ever done. And I think that's probably one of the biggest differences for me in this second chapter of fighting since I've moved down here. Is just focusing on like the confidence and the self-belief and going into training with intention, and just like having these like mental things that I can focus on that really pay off and make a difference on fight night.
And
So yeah, sure.
last question: what's one fighter you model your game after? And actually, two questions: what's one fighter that you model your game after? And considering you're 30, right? This is not disrespectful, but like, are you gonna go all in? Like, are you gonna just book fights everywhere and like try to like be in, because you're basically in your almost your prime. Like, it's not gonna get better. You know what I mean? Are you gonna try to book? You know?
Yeah. Fighter, I like to model my game after. So when I started training, man, like the city kickboxing guys were doing their thing. That was like prime Izzy, prime Volk, just monsters in the striking department. So I love watching Volk fight. I think he does a great job of like controlling the ring and doing all like the little things positionally that allow him to be great offensively. So I love watching Volk fight. The style bender's everybody's favorite, man. Like he's on kind of a skid right now, and it's tough to see. But when Izzy was on his game, man, like that's when I first started training, and I was like, this guy, he's got it going on. He's out of both stances. He can knock anybody out. He fights great from a distance. He'll step in the pocket. But yeah, like I'm 30 years old. I got some stuff that I want to do when I'm done fighting. I want to own this restaurant. Like that's like my life passion. But in the meantime, yeah, I just want to be as active as possible. I want to train. I want to get paid to travel. Like my ideal fighting scenario, I've always said this, is like if I can get a fight booked in like Costa Rica, or get a fight booked in New York, or a fight booked in, somewhere like a big city, and me and two coaches or whatever get to fly up to that city, then we're already there. You just take like a couple of days and essentially create vacation and experience for yourself. So yeah, I want to do that. I've, got no responsibilities, not married, no kids, working, kind of grinding. So like while I have no other obligations, I want to just dive all in and see what the world has to offer me in terms of fighting. Yeah.
Considering you said you want to travel and fight, I know I said last question, but what is the I was talking about a fight organization before they gave you a chance to fight. What's the name of the
Combat Night?
Yeah, Combat Night. If you're listening, we want to see Canyon Smith anywhere, like New York. As you said, New York. That'd be great to watch you fight in New York, somewhere across the world. Combat Night. If you're listening, because they liked one of my reels, get him a fight. We want to see him fight. All right.
On the road, it doesn't matter. At home, I got a little following in the Midwest from where I started training. Combat Night is all over Florida. I've got a pretty good fan base and community that's been built out in Orlando by virtue of being out here. But I'll go to Tampa, I'll go to Jax, I'll go to South Florida, I'll go to Gainesville, I'll go to Tallahassee. I want to fight. I want to be active and show the world what I'm capable of. But yeah,